Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Hot Topics podcast. I hope you guys are having an outstanding week. I do apologize for a little bit of connection drama. My router is not the best, but I just wish I could unplug it and put it in here, but I can't. Um, so and so I wish you guys the best, and we're gonna begin in 30 seconds. Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Hot Topics podcast. I'm your host, Alexander Rivera, and thank you all for tuning in this evening for our grand opening and season premiere of this new show that we are now starting. There are outstanding rock stars, and it is my honor to bring on one of these wonderful rock stars. I understand she does have a time limit, but that's okay. So with that being said, joining us now from her home in Dunedin, please welcome to the show, Mrs. Kelly Johnson.
Hey, how
Hey,
are ya? I was thinking
I'm
I
good.
could have I could have like made a run-in entrance, but then I realized nobody wants to see what I have on the bottom because I'm doing the standard, video Zoom type of attire. So I will
I
just
completely
rock
understand.
I'll just rock the jacket up top and not even talk to you about the rest of it. So, anyways, thank you for having me. It was
You're
another
welcome.
it was another grand entrance, and I do appreciate you. I appreciate that you reached out to me. I am completely honored to be here, and I'm excited to dive into what we have in store tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. As
Yes.
as a mom, you're a very, very, very busy mom.
Yes.
As you said, and I believe it was in a text that you sent me. You said another day in the office.
Yes.
I was like, she works in an
Well, I
office.
mean, like, no, I didn't plan on like my son getting into this major car accident on
Oh
Friday and me
wow.
literally having no vehicle. And then I've been on the phone all day arguing with State Farm, and it's just been fun. Yeah, it's been
Let me
great.
tell you something. I could turn into a Karen myself. Okay,
Yeah.
only when necessary
Yes.
and high on sugar. I
Yes.
turn into a Karen.
That's okay. I was definitely beyond a Karen today to people, but it's a really sad thing. I was always, I use it as a teaching moment for my children. I told them it's a shame that people just don't do the right thing. Like,
Yeah.
why do we have to threaten and coerce people to do the right thing? And that can be translated to many, many things, including Tallahassee, which is where I plan on being here in another year and a few months, which will be
Go for the
amazing.
gold, Kelly.
Yes, yes.
So, Kelly, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a Dunedin resident. I've been in my district my entire life. Which would be 29 years, which would be my first public lie. So, at least for this session, yeah, I'm a Floridian. I love Florida. I have been here in all kinds of areas in Florida, but my most favorite place is the same place that I'm running for office in, which is District 65. Now, District 65 covers pretty much Dunedin, Palm Harbor, Tarpon Springs. I can't tell you exactly where the district lines lie because unfortunately we are redistricting this year, and I don't know what's going to happen with my borders. I do know we are a high GOP Republican district. And so I have a feeling we may lose a few, especially after the last census numbers came out. We continue to accelerate in the color red here. So they may need to borrow a little bit of our people when they draw the lines
Yeah.
to help them out in things like District 67, which is just south of me. I have a feeling that district line will be drawn a little bit differently.
I mean, if I could bring Washington, if I could, to Dunedin, I would.
Yeah.
Yesterday, as a matter of fact, on I believe it was Wednesday, I was in Dunedin myself. I work with Representative Anna Escamani for People Power for
Awesome.
Florida, And, I didn't even know that the organization that I work for was, in fact, Escamani's, expertise. I was like, what the hell? I was like, okay, but I just remember doing meditation. Okay. And then, as a matter of fact, I was in Pinellas County a couple of weeks ago, and I hear somebody tap my shoulder. I go, who's tapping my shoulder? I look behind me, and it's Congressman Charlie Crist.
Yeah, cool.
So I got some run in with, my politician. Um, so Kelly, I understand you're on a very limited time frame.
Yes, I will
So,
try to. Yeah, I have to go get my son from work because I'm now borrowing his car. So, like, what just
um,
happened? My life was so beautiful and nice on Friday, and I had everything under control, like we all do. And then all of a sudden, something happened. But I'm really
yeah, that
grateful,
devastated me because I've been
Yeah.
praying for your son.
Thank
So,
you.
you know,
He's
I
kind of
appreciate it.
dealing with some internal bleeding right now, which now we're
Oh,
dealing with the wonderful health, care system, which is absolutely super slow and terrible. We had to make a second urgent care visit because the ER was absolutely terrible in running tests because he's a really strong young man. So you look at him and you think he's probably okay. But internally, apparently, he may not be okay. So today was a full day of tests. So I appreciate your prayers. I do know that they are working, and I know that he is on the road to healing. And the other drivers in the accident are okay as well.
that's good.
So yes,
And you know what was Kelly, a lot of people tell me this, and I was very fortunate of enough to go to Tallahassee, myself. I'm not a representative, but I did work as a messenger for a couple years, and I have to say, when you're up there in Tallahassee, you get to hear what sounds like a war zone when it's in debate. Okay,
that's awesome.
And
Good thing I was a
it was
boxer.
utter, yeah,
Should I
and
bring
it
the
was
gloves?
utterly petrifying because when I was up there, I was ready to bring like freaking Muhammad Ali at some
Yeah,
of these people.
yeah,
Um, and if you remember, when I believe it was Representative Randy Fine that told Representative Valdez, "Because we can," and that I don't know if you heard that. Have you?
I hadn't heard that. No.
But it was over a specific bill, and it was HB 1475, as we discussed before the internet kicked us off. I think that was God's way of saying, "Hey, I respect everybody."
Yeah.
Um, but when I heard about this bill, I wasn't even sure what it was. I was like, "What in the world is this bill?" Let me tell you something. That bill should have been vetoed from day one. It should have never even been discussed about, because we're talking about children,
Mhm.
and especially transgendered students. They should not undergo a physical freaking exam just to prove that they're transgender.
That
It upsets
is
me.
the most
Um,
horrendous thing I've heard in a long time. I feel like children are not second class citizens, and the last thing that we need to do is to pass bills to make them that way. So we talk about
Absolutely, and
attack, we want to do all this stuff. You hear all the politicians saying, we want to protect the children. We want to do this. Well, when you put the rubber to the road, you see what's up in whose heart and what they're doing up there. And for this to even have been a thing is absolutely an atrocity to me. But, like I
it
had told you
is
before, my experience in exercise and sports science, having a degree, doing all the research, there are other ways to go about answering questions about gender, about if somebody is qualified to play in this or in that. Like I said, we used to disqualify people because they were using testosterone. So obviously a woman, a child that is born female, but definitely feels more male and starts to go through the transition, which, by the way, one of my sons had a very dear friend who was transitioning. I watched the whole thing. She was an amazing soul, amazing person. I love her so much. And, I watched her physically because she was in the gym. I was helping her with weights. It didn't give her that much of an advantage to, be using all this testosterone and transfer all that to being, transferring into a male. The same way with the males that want to transition into females. There's going to be a part where the testosterone will be low enough for them maybe to be considered they can then play. Maybe we need to find that level through research and science instead of being shameful and discriminating and degrading of people who are not like us, because we are all different and we all matter. And that to me is the most important thing in the world. I look at, I've done a lot of work with, the community in general and people. One of the reasons, and I don't want to get too far into it, but I'm an ordained minister. I have a Bible degree. I've been a missions worker almost my whole life. I wrote 10 books. They're all Christian children's books. There's just a lot of stuff that I've done in my life, and it's all centered around Christianity and God. And what happened for me to leave the organized church was two things. Number one, I got very angry with the way that the church that I was at was treating LGBTQ.
Absolutely.
Okay. I was angry about that because I had somebody who was a cross-dresser and a gay man, and I was ministering to him, Jesus, and told him that God loves everybody. It doesn't matter. And your sin is not any different than my sin. And without getting into it, that was one very important thing that made me leave. And the other thing was, of course, God said, Kelly, the people that I want you to reach aren't in church on Sunday. And I was like, wow, that kind of makes a lot of sense. They probably aren't. Who knew? So I left, not a bad leave, but just I want to go out in the world and help the people who aren't being helped. And I want to minister to the hurting, regardless of why they're hurting. Because like I tell people, I'm not going to judge you for what you do in your bedroom. Why are you judging everybody else? Do you want people to start judging you in that? Do you want to tell us what you're doing? Let's come on. This is relationships. It's people, we're all trying to survive here and go through life. And the most important thing we could do is love one another. And we cannot do that checking genitals of children to see if they can participate in sports.
It makes me sick to my stomach, when I see that. And, Kelly, I am very proud, that I'm an openly gay person because, my religion happens to be a very warm and accepting congregation called the ELCA, Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. And they have a wonderful organization that promotes people who are LGBTQ+. It's called an organization called Reconciling Works. And, I've been an ELCA member for 1 year now. And, I've learned so much. And just recently, I got a job working with the Hillsborough County Children's Board as their as their outreach director for literacy. And so beginning this summer, not, this upcoming summer, but the summer of 2022, I will be going out into the community and distributing books, actual books to children, across Hillsborough County. Because, I think that there's this quote by the Dalai Lama. Hang on, let me see if I can find that quote. It's on my Instagram. Hang on. Should take me about a couple minutes. If it doesn't, I'm going to throw a freaking hissy fit. It's this wonderful quote, and it says, in order to carry a positive action, we must develop a positive vision. So what is your vision, Kelly, upon receiving that ultimate prize, the Florida house?
Have you seen the YouTube video with the Office quarterback where he rams everybody with his body? So that's my first day. What I'm going, no. My vision is to bring people together, to help. See, because I have 8 children and I've done a lot of stuff my whole life with kids.
Wait, did you just say 8?
Yeah, I have 8 children.
Wow.
If anybody can bring Republicans and Democrats together. It's me. And I have a gift to bring people together. And so I plan on that. My vision for the state house is to bring it together. For example, I look at something like what just happened with the infrastructure bill, in DC, and then how the budget reconciliation had to get tagged onto that. And when you looked through it, you could see, it was definitely, brought by the Dems, and then it had a lot of stuff in there that the Republicans were never going to agree to. Why did we write it like that? That's what I feel like. We need to stop it about Republicans and Democrats. We have to stop the infighting. It's absolutely crippling to the state. We have got to find a way to work together in legislature. And if that means, having dinner with my Republican comrades to find out, well, okay, I have this bill. What do you guys want to see in it? Oh, here's a question, so that it can help me get it passed. What can I do for you in my bill? Why is nobody doing that? That's what I want to do.
And yeah, good.
I mean, why aren't we doing that? That doesn't make sense to me. I've read these bills. I'm like, this is why nothing is getting passed, because you guys are literally killing the other side because you're so polarized. They want to talk about polarized politics. I've never seen it like this. I remember, because I am kind of old, a time when—
You're not old.
Thank you. Republicans and Democrats actually worked together. My vision is to return that. And if it means I have to kind of suck it up and lose some of my bill in the process to get it passed for the better of my district, that's what I'm going to do.
Absolutely. So and as I'm reading—
Sorry. Well, my vision is just a more together state, because it's like one of the reporters from the AP called me up right after the election when I lost, and I was probably really hungover. And he said, which I won't even get into, he said, would you say Florida's a red state now? You would say it's probably not even purple anymore. And I'm like,
purple.
Yeah, like, in other words, not Dem and Republican mix. It's more red. And I said, I don't think it's that. I think that even though it looks like, the Dems really lost everything, and we might have in that election, I do believe that the future of Florida is going to be much more mixed, and that we are going to find a way to come together as a state, because we are a rockin' state. We really are. I am thankful to be in the state of Florida right now.
And, I'm actually reading one of your tweets, from when you quoted me. You said, I can't wait to hear what comes out of my mouth tonight. And, when...
That's me.
and, when I heard, Governor DeSantis talk about, I don't want to hear a blip about COVID. Yeah. And when we had this conversation, like, through text, I was like, I did not just put that, because I did not want to know what she's about to say next. And I was like over my phone going like this.
It's kind of like, what is DeSantis going to say today? It's like, what is Kelly Johnson going to say today?
Well, guess what? If Kelly Johnson ever runs for governor, you're looking at the new running mate.
Oh, there you go. That's awesome. Yes, deal. Signed. Deal.
Signed, sealed, delivered.
It's an amazing responsibility, Governor. It really, really is. And I don't know where I will go once I get into the state house, because I will only get 6 years in there. But I know that my path has already kind of gone this way as it is. And I just, I feel like I'm finally where I'm supposed to be, which is weird, because when I ran for office last time, I was a sacrificial lamb, I wasn't supposed to win at all. And I was like, I can't believe I'm a politician. And some of my closest friends said, Kelly, you've been a politician your whole life. And I was like, what? They like, you're always fighting for people.
Oh, did you see about the new Mary McLeod Bethune statue?
No.
They're moving it into the U.S. Capitol, and it's going to be a symbol of the state of Florida now.
Very nice.
Because,
when did that break?
Just now, literally, Anna just texted me. Anna asked money.
Oh, okay. Goes, hey, I love her. I got to say, Anna is amazing. She was somebody who very much inspired me when she had like one of her many Friday night town hall meetings on Facebook when we were going through the unemployment fiasco. And
Yes.
Anna and Ida, I was able to meet with them on Zoom, basically just one of the many in there. But just watching them and the way that they deal with people and they deal with the legislature, was very inspired. I think the two of them
Now,
are dynamic.
Ida and Anna, if you're ever watching this, we're not talking bad about you. We're calling you a badass because you are.
Yeah.
Because, the other day I was actually on Zoom, and actually tomorrow I am welcoming Dave Cutler, president of the Hillsborough County LGBTQ plus Democratic Caucus, and we're actually going to talk about equality. Because, I think that the more equality we have in the state, the chances of homophobia and transphobia and, sexism, all of that should, go down. But, we can't guarantee anything, but, if we, as, I'm not going to lie to you, I have been working my ass off half the time, working, with these amazing people. Me and Susan haven't talked, believe it or not. Our last conversation we had was in August 16th of this year, right before she was getting ready to go to Tallahassee. And I told her, I was like, Susan, you give them hell. If they give you any shit, let me know. I'll grab the wine. I'm coming with the box of chocolates, and look out, Tallahassee.
There you go.
I was like, Caddyshack. I was going like this, and she goes, but we had fun. A lot of people aren't. As a matter of fact, let me see what time it is.
Oh,
It's
we're good.
8:47.
It's okay. We're
Yep.
okay. We could go a little bit. Well, I haven't gotten the text of please come pick me up yet that I will say no.
Let me say something. Okay, so what was interesting for my mother? As
Now, your mother is a nurse or was a nurse.
That is correct. She
Okay.
has been a nurse almost. She actually retired this year.
Very good.
But within 2 weeks of her retirement, she goes right back.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like so pissed off at my mother. I was like, Mom, you need to retire. She goes, Alex, what more jobs do you want me to do? She goes, I'm not Trump, okay? I can't live in a penthouse, but what more do you want from me? I go, please don't go to work. And literally, I just remember on the first day of school, literally going to the front door of my freaking house and getting on my knees. I was like, please, Mommy, don't go to work. And I give her the, puppy dog eyes, the.
Oh, yeah.
And she goes, oh, dear God, Alex. And I go, but, I actually I never told you this, Kelly, I'm actually a singer.
Oh,
And,
very nice.
And, I watch The Voice all the time, and I see them picking teams for Team Kelly. Well, this election, I am Team Kelly.
There you go. Awesome.
And, if you need me to canvass, you got my phone number.
Oh. We can hang out together and knock on some doors.
Oh, we're going to be literally.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie Dumber and Dumber 2?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember
I actually live Dumb and Dumber 1, but that's okay. Every day.
Do you remember in Dumber and Dumber 2 where Jim Carrey constantly rings the doorbell constantly? That's what I'm planning on doing when we're canvassing. Literally, I don't give a shit if you're sleeping. I'm just, I would literally go like this.
We need to talk to you now.
I'll be like this.
Well, it's gonna be a better time because when we were campaigning for 2020 and me being the new person into politics in the first place, we were not able to. The Democratic Party had told us basically we were not to canvass, we were not to go door to door, and it in fact made it very difficult because people didn't really get to know me other than
how the heck are you going to get the message out?
Right. Well, I mean, I was on national TV a little bit. I was in the newspaper a lot because of my work with the unemployment. So that was fantastic. And I remember the most amazing time of my campaign. I was out finally out in the public. This was at early voting. I was so excited. I was out with people because I'm really good in front of people. And they always said, we just need to get you in front of people. But, with COVID, we couldn't do it. And this guy comes with this huge Trump flag, and he's got like all the gear. And I was surprised he probably had a gun in his truck, and he's running at me, you. And I'm like, I held my children back. I'm like, what's going to go down here? Like, do I have to show this
would tell
guy?
your oldest, I would say, take your crock off, run like hell, put my kids in the car, and beat the hell out of him.
Well, I was getting ready. I didn't know what was coming. He says, I have never voted for a Democrat in my entire life, and I voted for you. And it almost brought me to tears, because that's exactly why I'm running. It's not for all the people that I say this stuff to that they like. It's for all the other people, right, that I want to bring them together. I want to bring people that may not like everything I say, but you know what? We're going to give her a try. We're going to put her in the state house, and we're going to see how she works for us, because it's not about Republican, Democrat, any of that. It's about my district, and it's about the state of Florida.
Making people happy.
And giving everybody a voice. It doesn't matter if you, as much discrimination as we do, which you have dealt with way more than unfair amount than I ever have. And I'm so sorry about that. But we cannot discriminate anymore on what people's political party is.
Because, Barack Obama issued the exact same thing. If you remember back in 2008 when he was first running, he said, there was not a liberal America, there was not a white America, there was not a white America and a black America. There was the United States of America.
Yeah.
And then I
feel like we're so far away from that right now.
As a matter of fact, I actually remember I was in second grade. It's a true story. I was in second grade, and I used to go to Tinker. You know where Tinker is, right? It's here in Tampa. It's at Tinker K through 8.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, I see a bunch of news groups, piling in our room. I'm thinking in my mind, I almost wanted to, say, the FUCK, over a loudspeaker. I was like, oh my God. And I remember being on the morning show. Next thing you know, I'm sitting in my classroom, and the teacher gets a phone call, and she goes, yes, sir. She goes, okay, I'll see you in a few. She runs out for a bit, and literally, I thought it was a freaking stormtrooper, and literally, they're just going in and going in. I go, what's all these cameras for? They go, you don't know? I go, what? They go, the president is, here at Tinker. And I remember Barack asking me to touch his hair. And he said, literally, and I remember having my hair spiked up and me feeling nervous. I touch his head. I was like, I'll rub that for good luck.
Oh.
And and then, I've, witnessed, a lot of presidencies in my life. My mother, when she was very young, about 84, 83, she was very fortunate enough to meet Nancy Reagan, the first lady. She sat on her lap and they read Where the Wild Things Are. And then when Barbara Bush was first lady, she came again to my brother's school and read the exact same book that, my mother and Nancy had read 30-something years prior to that.
Wow.
I'm trying not to tear up.
Yeah,
but, if I ever come to Dunedin, I'm calling you up and we're having lunch.
Oh, absolutely.
Because we could talk about, how it's going to affect our country. Well, not our country, but, how it can affect our state and what we can do to build back better. And,
really build back better, not just say it as some kind of campaign phrase. And, it takes everybody working together and everybody's voices to be heard to build back better, in my humble opinion, which is never very humble. Yeah. So I would be so honored to sit and have lunch with you and then go canvas and
absolutely. I mean, we have to be out until like not literally 3:30 because I understand you have kids, but like literally Mom needs a night out.
There you go.
I'm a
Yeah, it's hard. I went to the Bucks game yesterday. By the way, I've been a Buccaneer fan since I was a little
I know.
girl.
I saw your thing on
And
Twitter. I was
Tom
like, what?
Brady, I would like to have your endorsement. Thank you. So, anyways, it was just amazing to be back in the stadium and just I felt like I don't know how
Hang on,
everybody
let me
else
see if I can
feels, but
pull
I
up the
felt like
tweet that you said.
normal, right? Normal again. Like I'm at the stadium. I'm at the Bucks game.
Yeah,
I'm
you
talk,
said just an
I'm
epic play. I saw this one live from the 50-yard line, but sometimes a different perspective changes things. Love wow, Tom Brady and the Buccaneers.
yeah, I'm totally gonna be
Yeah,
stalking
there
him
it
on
is. I'm
Twitter.
literally reading it right
He's going to endorse me.
now.
I
Yeah,
know.
I mean,
I
I can be
don't
the first
care. He's
endorser,
gonna
honey.
endorse
You
me.
know, I got this.
I'm a football fanatic. I have to be endorsed by football people.
You
I
need
don't
to put that in your Twitter bio. Football
Yeah.
fanatic, soccer.
Yeah.
You're a soccer mom, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm a soccer coach. I'm not a
Well,
very good
yeah.
soccer mom.
I
I'm
mean,
not good at hanging out with the other moms and talking. I'm good at managing the field.
and you're going to be
So,
managing a good job this
yeah.
next election.
Right. So, it's just like when I've coached football, I've coached soccer, I love coaching basketball too. It's just like anything, when I get up to Tallahassee, I'm going to have different players that have different positions and they have different strengths and weaknesses. So we
And
all have to work
I
together
have to
as a
say,
team.
I would, if you remember, if I'm not mistaken, you know Speaker Oliva, right?
Wait, what?
Speaker Oliva, he's the one that represented before Chris Browse did.
I know who he is. Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought you were asking me if I knew some kind of weird foreign language. I'm like, I've never even heard of that. Like, what are you talking about? Did somebody put you
I
up to
see
ask me
myself
these
as a
questions?
comedian, and this was actually a true story. I just remember going down to a comedy bar. It was up in back when I was on vacation. I was with my family, and they took me to New Jersey. It was
Okay.
Newark, where where my mother comes from. Yeah, she's New Jersey and acts just like freaking Joe Pesci, Italian, you name
I
it.
love Joe Pesci. Yep.
And I remember, and every Christmas, she always puts out these little cutouts of Harry and Marv, and there's a voiceover that Joe Pesci says. He goes, "We're not here to hurt you," and we play it every freaking Halloween. Last year, I got him good. I actually got my mother so good. I put myself up as Michael Myers, and let's just say my mother will never watch a Halloween movie again.
Oh yeah. Oh,
She
your
was
daughter
so good.
good.
And she just remembers beating me with a broom and she goes, "Really?" But yeah, we had fun, and I think that if you're ever elected to Florida legislature school, term.
All right, you cut
So
out. Can you repeat that?
if I ever become a Florida legislator, well, not a Florida legislator, but if I ever become an intern, I definitely want to work for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's, I think that it's important too when you are elected that the people that work with you are different, are different than you and have different strengths because I really feel like the right people together can do anything if they
Right.
just would listen to each other and let each other speak for the things that they have
Right.
expertise in. That's why I feel like when I get up to the legislature that they should make me speak a lot because I have a lot of things, having a lot of children, living probably half my life so far and doing all the things that I've done in my life. I have a lot of experience. No, I am not an attorney, but I'm
So
sorry. I don't think we need more attorneys in the legislature right now. We have
absolutely.
attorneys.
I mean, we have Century Driscoll, who is an attorney. We have Michelle Rayner, if you know who I'm talking about.
Yep, I know her.
Let me tell you something. I didn't even know it was her. Okay, it just happens to be a bright sunny afternoon, and we hear the story about Marquise McLaughlin. I didn't know anything about Marquise until I was reading the case. I was like, okay, I understand stand your ground law case, and Bianca, Michelle's wife. I didn't even know it was Bianca's. I didn't even know Bianca's wife was Michelle until I asked her, I go, "Hey Bianca, I have a question for you." She goes, "Okay." And I go, "Isn't your wife Michelle Rayner?" She goes, "Yeah." I go, and I thought, like, I was like, "What the heck?" You know, she was a civil rights attorney. She's one of the what I think is best attorneys, and I've noticed that half the times, um, I don't want to get too personal, but are you a single mom?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, it's tough, raising 8 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, some of them are out of the house. Some of them came back in the house because of COVID, but yes,
yeah.
they do have
And
they have a
it's like
long
Full
range.
House almost, but you don't have
Yeah.
John Stamos.
Right.
And have you ever seen the movie? Not movie. Have you ever seen Full House?
Yeah.
I've never seen Full House.
Okay.
Don't.
So I was like young when that was on.
I mean, you're so
Huh.
young. You look like you're a rocking mom.
I get this
You're
sometimes.
pretty good at what you do.
Sometimes,
You
I
know,
am a Gemini, so sometimes you don't know who you're going to get for the day.
I'm a Scorpio, so
Oh goodness, oh yeah, we'll get along very well.
we're
Scorpios and
imagining in heaven,
Geminis, yeah.
basically.
And I don't get. Oh,
And
let's talk about something not legislature. What is up with the extra astrological sign? And now all of a sudden, I'm not a Gemini. I am not going to accept that.
yep.
Have you heard
And
that?
and you know what's weird? The other day, my mom told me to make myself useful. Well, she didn't tell me to make myself useful. She told me yesterday. She goes, "Do something entertaining but useful." But she doesn't. What? Okay, so me and my older brother, who's by the way, he's 35, and my mom is almost 53. Well, not 53.
Ooh.
My mom, my my oldest brother is 32, and my literally I'm so tongue tied. My oldest brother is 32, and my mom is 40, gonna be 49 next Tuesday. Happy birthday to
Oh,
my
happy
mother.
birthday, mom.
And so yesterday, I enlisted the help of my older brother, and what she doesn't know is that one of the legs on the couch is missing. It was not our fault. We literally played, like normal brothers do, and the leg
Yeah.
came off.
And it's right there in your hand.
And
Oh,
literally, I just remember saying I didn't do it, and then he takes the border, for the actual block, and takes it out. And now and I told my mom, I was like, "Could I use it as a door wedge?" She goes, "Do you want to get your ass kicked?"
I
But
think I like your mom already. You
I
don't know
mean,
how to
she's
fix
a
that?
Libra, so you two would get along
Yeah.
great. If I ever am in Dunedin, first thing I'm doing, like before I even get into Dunedin, I'm giving you a call.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really cool city. I am so honored to have this district because it is a really cool district. Dunedin, Palm Harbor, Tarpon Springs, you have to hang out over here. One of the biggest needs of the district is definitely the small businesses. They have
Yes,
really
I
been
have researched
affected.
that, and literally, we don't
Yeah.
have enough small-owned businesses.
I really want to delve into what's happening with the small businesses, what they're having. We need to support our small businesses. And I don't mean just let them, open and give them, just let them operate and hope that they stick. Our small businesses bring in our tourism. And so we need to make sure that we are thanking them in an appropriate way by making it easier and more lucrative for them to do business here in the
Yeah,
area. Because the last thing the city needs is a bunch of businesses closing. So
yeah,
there's a quaintness
yeah.
in Dunedin, Palm Harbor, and Tarpon Springs that you just
I
don't get
love
everywhere.
Tarpon.
Yeah.
Let me
And
tell you something.
Tarpon I want to do a lot of work with too, because I think the
If
whole community is screaming for help, for
Absolutely,
helping.
have you ever took your kids down to the sponge docks?
Yep. Yes.
Literally, I remember going with my mother,
It's
and
literally the same as it was when I was a little kid. It's
and
really
literally,
cool.
I just remember going on the ferry, on the little taxi that takes you out into the ocean. And well, let's say that it was raining the night before, so the deck was a little bit slippery. Kelly, hang on, y'all. I think. Hang on, y'all. I think she booted. Kelly? I think Kelly got. Oh, she left. Hey, hello.
Hey, I'm booted out. I don't know what happened.
I don't know. I mean, do you think you could rejoin?
Yeah, I'm trying to right now. Hang on just a second.
I know. Literally, I have you on speakerphone and we're still live.
That's okay.
Yeah, but
Hang
yeah.
on, I'll be 10 minutes. Hang on. What's going on here? This is so weird. All right, hang on. Yep, hang on, guys. Okay, I'm in. Try again.
And it's the same link.
Yeah, I'm trying again. It's loading. I'm in. Enter studio.
And it says device is not connected. But I could.
All right, we're in.
Oh, I see you now.
Don't you love technology?
I fucking hate internet. I'm sorry, but I hate internet.
You know, one of the things that I felt like one of the first things that should have been done by the legislature when things got shut down in schools and stuff is it should have been broadband for everybody throughout the entire state. There were so many communities that were underserved with internet, and the kids had a really hard time, with school.
I was very lucky, especially because I work with the Children's Board.
Mhm.
And I was very fortunate enough to partner with Spectrum and Charter Communications, and we were able to get pretty much a lot of Wi-Fi. And literally, so I would get text messages from parents, and they would call me, on my cell phone asking me, hey, can you, help me with my Wi-Fi? And I personally would go over to their house, help them connect Wi-Fi. And, I had this one couple. They were single. She was a single mom of 7. No, I think she said 10 kids.
Oh my gosh, she beat me.
And I was like, you poor devil. You must be going through a damn hard time, raising kids like that. But
well, you asked your kids. When I don't know, I ask my kids.
Yeah, and I remember telling them, I was like, okay, I was like, Rachel, calm down. Be over in 15. If your husband's there, tell him to get out. I'm going to whip him with the damn extension cord. And literally, I just remember telling her, I was like, go, go, go. And this particular mom, she was a single mom. And, I was able to hook up their Wi-Fi. And then I went to this other woman's house, who had a kindergartner. And as I'm hooking up the Wi-Fi, and she was pregnant, she's hooking up the Wi-Fi, and she gives me this weird freaking look. She goes, and then all of a sudden, what do you know? Her water breaks. I was like, I am not delivering this baby. I was like, hop in the back of my Tesla.
This is not in my job description.
Literally,
we were sitting on Davis Island. Literally, Davis Island is not that far away from TGH. And I'm trying not to get pulled over. And I just remember flipping off of a cop saying, I'm not doing the speed limit, but I need to get this woman to the hospital. She delivered a 13-pound baby.
Wow. Yep, that would have been a really hard birth for you to do. So I'm glad that you made that decision. That was good.
Have you ever seen the show called The Midwife?
No. I live that. I don't need to see a show.
I mean, it has its ups and downs. In this one particular season, there was this woman who gave birth to a baby who had absolutely no legs.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
It is hard because, I have a disability myself. I have, and a lot of times I get picked on for the, disability that I have. I have both Tourette's and I.
Oh, okay. You haven't cussed at me yet.
Yeah. I haven't cussed them to anything until, yeah. But I have a wonderful personality, and, my, I like to call my boyfriend my husband.
That's okay.
Yeah, Michael, who's my husband, is absolutely phenomenal. Yesterday, was our 3-year anniversary, and
Happy anniversary.
he takes me out to dinner, and he goes, "So, babe, how's your day?" I go, "Don't get started with me. The week hasn't even started." He goes, "Have you had margaritas yet?" I go, "Honey, I'm only 17. I do not need to drink."
Oh God.
And so I just remember grabbing up that grape juice and walking down the beach. And this, like I said, this beach tripper came up to me. He goes, "Ma'am." I go, "I'm a sir."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Is that one open?" I go, "I know one thing that opened. It's your mouth." And Jesus did it again. I thought it was water.
There you go.
And I've never seen a guy shut his mouth so damn quick in my life.
Oh, I bet. But that's really neat that you were helping people with their internet, because I have to say, with all of my work with the unemployed, one of the biggest problems that we ran into was the fact there were a lot of people that had no clue how to do anything. For us to pick up a phone and go on Twitter, Facebook, respond to emails, it's super easy, right? But for a lot of people out there who were unemployed because of COVID-19, they had no idea what to do with the computer. They had accessibility issues. We had all kinds of situation that really the legislature should have addressed at some point. The government.
Well, you were on the Guardian.
Yeah, I was a few times. I was in New York Times too.
Yeah, I'm reading it now. It says my siblings were gone known to. Yeah, literally, I'm reading it now.
Oh yeah, because he said I Forrest Gumped my way into the election. It was so cool. I love that, because if you've ever seen Forrest Gump, he just doesn't care. He just keeps going, and I think that's what he's talking about. He doesn't care, he's just gonna go, and that's kind of what I don't care what anybody says.
Forrest impersonator, literally. I should remember. It was a long time ago. I remember seeing Cher. You know who Cher is, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I just remember interpreting her. I was like, "She's my friend." And literally, my mother said, "Shut up." I was like, "What?" And literally, we had no idea that we were gonna, have backstage passes and see her in Miami. But me being, at the time I was maybe about 10, and it was during one of her tours. It was called the Dress to Kill tour. And when the first thing that she told me was, "So you're the," and literally this is how she actually said it. She goes, "So you're the dude who writes ABC backwards." I got ABC 1, 2, 3. Come and dance with me. And she ends up literally. I've never seen a person sing because the song "Because You Loved Me," right, by Celine Dion. I've never seen a woman sing it, and literally she was holding my hand, and I just remember. And I was wearing white jeans at the time, and I just remember looking down, and I think I pissed my pants because I was so nervous.
That's okay.
And she yells, "Steve, clean up on aisle 4." I was like, God.
It's funny. One of those things like you always worry about, like, especially because I had never really I'd had one article written about me before I ran for office, and with going through unemployment stuff, like I wasn't used to all this media coverage. So I always worried about, oh my gosh, what am I going to screw up?
CNN?
CNN, no, they never interviewed me. I only got MSNBC and ABC.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute, somebody else.
My guy.
Somebody else.
My child, you are so lucky. Literally, I remember I was interviewed by Dahlia Dangerfield on Bay News 9 for educational advocacy. If you remember who I am, I remember saying that I wanted to run for school board. Was it a big it wasn't like anything physical. I didn't want to run for school board. I just endorsed. And I love how Dahlia used the phrase treats the school board members like celebrities. And I did my job by serving on their student council. We had 30-something students from 3 different counties: Volusia, Osceola, Pinellas, and what county is Dunedin? Pinellas. And we would meet 30 minutes every single day. Not 30 minutes. Our reorganization would take just 30 days. because we had issues with broadband, and I was like, and I served as the proud executive for that. And hang on, I gotta see if I get a phone call. Oh my god, I gotta go get my boyfriend from work.
Yeah, my son's been FaceTiming me like, Mom, come get me from work. I'm like, who's this? I don't know who this is.
Are you serious right now?
Oh, I mess with my kids all the time. You can't survive 8 children if you don't give them it right back.
Yes, queen.
And I love it that you have shared a lot of your personal path with me, because I think this is the key to all of this. Is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I think, what I believe. What matters is that I listen to you and to others.
And I have that you're approachable. You're a good listener.
Oh yeah, I'll talk to you,
my friend. As they always say, it's that one song by who sings Ben? Michael Jackson.
Yes. Why did I not say that? I used to have a glove. I used to have a Michael Jackson glove.
I my mother was actually married to a DJ, and she would get people to come to her parties, from Madonna to Lil Wayne when he was first starting, Lil Bow Wow when, he was a rapper, Jaden Smith, and, she met pretty much a lot of celebrities in her lifetime. She even met Kenny Rogers.
Awesome.
And she mistaken him for his wife.
That's interesting.
She was like, hey, Kenny.
That is interesting.
He was only 17 then. Back then, my mother was, I'm going to call her the wild child, because she was the wild child of the 90s. She told me, when Clinton got impeached, back in 97, and if Hillary Clinton is ever watching this, happy anniversary, 46 years today. They've been married. My mom has been married to my dad since 1980, want to say, 87, 88.
Yeah.
Not one single time have they had a divorce. But,
good.
All right. Well, it was great talking with you, Kelly.
No, it was good. And, if I could just say anything out there to all of your viewers, listeners, whoever you are, just really thank you for taking the time to listen to our little podcast talk. And again, I'm honored to be a guest on your show. And I really hope that I can return more than once, but definitely as an actual representative in the State House, because like I made a promise a long time ago to someone upstairs that I was going to never, ever stop. I thanked him for getting out of my pit. And I said, I will never stop going back to the pit and getting more people out. And I'm going to do that through passing some really amazing legislation for people, all people throughout the state of Florida, that we can have a much better future together. So,
and our next
I mean that. That's my campaign promise, and it's a bunch of junk that I just said, but I mean it.
It makes me want to, do you still have yard signs from last campaign? Yeah, if you do, then come over and I'll put one in my yard. But
I do. I have big banners. I have a lot of stuff. And, I haven't really kicked off my campaign yet officially. But when I do, there's going to be a lot of super amazing
the best time to do it?
And I'm going to go ahead and let you know so you can share with your viewers. And anybody who wants to come can make it.
Best time to announce your candidacy will probably be March of next year.
No, we're going to do it earlier because I want to get drunk. They're going to buy me shots and pay me money to get me drunk. It's going to be fun. It's going to be amazing. Yeah, it was great talking with you.
All right, you have a great night.
Thank you so much. You too.
All right,
Take care. Bye.